Hey, what's going on everyone? Hux21 here, back with another Splinterlands video. So this recent promo card, Zeriel, the first card we've had that is dual splinter. Can be played with life, can be played with death. Now, I made a video on this saying that I liked the card, it was pretty good, but it just wasn't worth the sale price. And I believe the sale price, or the sale itself, is winding down here shortly. However, one of my community members, Master Shonaf, thank you very much, delegated me a maxed version to test out. And let me tell you, in specific contexts, Zeriel is incredibly powerful. And I actually have 7 matches to show you. So it's not like, you have to wait for this specific type of rule set. There is a specific type of battle, but it's more common than you might think. So here we have the Zeriel page. Here's what it looks like. Here's what she looks like. Weapons training, life leech, divine shield, rust. It's slow. The life leech with the 5 archery at the highest level is nice, because then you're talking about taking in 3 health per hit. It also works really well with the rust, because if you hit shield, you got to hit health to get the life leech. So if we can take away some shield, it's more likely we're going to hit the actual health of the opponent. Very, very good card. Well, in this context, we're going to talk about the weapons training a little bit. Before I show the battles, just want to talk about her rating, about a 5.8. And to be honest, I think that's about right. This isn't a card that you're going to, plug and play any mana size. There's a lot of cards that are plug and play. This is not one of them. There's very specific context and specific mana sizes that I've had success with Zeriel. And that is low mana battles. So maybe a little surprising given it costs 7 mana to play, but anything under 30, I've had a lot of success with this card, and you're gonna see a lot of under 30 battles in this video. So 5.8 I think is about right, to be honest. I feel pretty good about the 5.8. If I had to pick if it was a little low or a little high, I would maybe go a little low, but I think this is about right. I think it's a solid card. And I think in a specific context, low mana, it can be a bit game-breaking, as you'll see. Before we get into the battles, one last thing I want to do. Let's take a peek at some of the no attack cards that are going to be highlighted in this video. So a lot of them are going to be life. So number 1, we have the Truth Speaker. You're going to see a lot of the Truth Speaker. So think about this, right? We have an 8 at the highest level. Some fantastic abilities: protect, cleanse, tank heal. Awesome, all for 3 mana. Now imagine if this card also had 3 archery. This would be mid-9s, maybe even a perfect 10 of a card if you gave this 3 mana card with these abilities a 3 archery attack. Absolutely incredible. And that's what you're getting with this. Another one to look at that you will see. There's going to be 5 that I quickly touch on. Scavo Hireling. We're going to see a lot of the Scavo Hireling as well. 7.6. Again, you get to bring a support card. These are support cards, right? They get their value from their abilities. You can get a repair, a camouflaged repair, that also has a speed manipulation. But part of this card's deficit is the no attack. Well now, not just 1 attack, not just 2 attack, you can give this 3 mana support card 3 attack. Another one, and this one is only going to see 1 battle with death that involves the Riftwing, but this card I think is a lot more use case via weapons training. I think this is one of the cards that benefits the most from that ability, and we'll get into it a little bit in these specific battles. But do you put the Riftwing somewhere in the back line to scavenge up some health before it moves to the front? But then you're taking up one of your attack spots. Do you put it as a tank because it has decent evasiveness, high health, but then you're not really taking advantage of the scavenger? It's a little tricky about where to put the Riftwing battle to battle, But I think Zeriel answers that question, and I will show you a battle doing that. 2 more, I don't need to type this in, Chaos Agent. So this card is a perfect 10, as is. 1 mana, all of these abilities for 1 mana, good speed, okay health for 1 mana too. I mean, can't complain about 4 health for 1 mana. Now you're going to give it 3 attack. I mean, we would need to completely rework our scale if this card had 3 attack. So this is going to be a fun one. Couple battles with Chaos Agent. And then finally, I've talked about this card before. It was on my underrated video, Angel of Light. Look at these abilities. Resurrect, Heal, Inspire. Pretty good health too. And now we're going to give it 3 attack. I mean, this would easily get into the 9s, I think, if it had 3 attack. All right, so those are some of the no attack cards that are going to get highlighted in this video. Just wanted to show you their ranking as a standalone without this added attack, just so you can get some context into how powerful some of these cards are going to be. As always, this is SplinterGuide, the website I launched with Brave Tofu. The link will be in the description. It's a very helpful site. I use it all the time. I'm not just saying that because I'm the person who helped create it. It's a very helpful site, and I really love our ranking system. So, all right, let's get into these battles. Okay, first here. This one, there's not really anything particularly crazy here. I just want to show you 26 mana cap, reverse speed. So a lot of these cards are slow. 1 speed here, 2 speed here. I just want to show sort of what the amount of damage you can get out with this setup here. So right here, Zeriel gets boosted from 5 to 6. These get boosted from 3 to 4. 14 damage right here in a 26 mana cap. And again, this is a support card. One of the things of this support card is to boost melee. So I'm also boosting the melee here, boosting the melee here. This is so much damage. Now, we actually get a bit lucky here because they really sold out on the sneak. And they're going to miss some shots that they probably should have hit. That's going to make the difference. This was more just to show you. 26 mana, 8, 16, 22 damage. I almost have a 1-for-1 damage output per mana. That's really difficult to do. So we can just watch this in action. This was a weird battle. I missed some shots I probably shouldn't have missed. They missed a ton of shots they shouldn't have missed. That was a 25% miss chance by me. That's 20%, 20%. Crazy. Another 20%. They just missed a ton of 20% chances in a row. Honestly, that probably won me the battle, but that's 6 damage in 1 shot. Once they missed those, it was over. If I didn't have this much damage, it wouldn't be over. Right? If these guys weren't attacking, they would have got more sneak opportunities. So the amount of damage I was doing let me take advantage of them missing. We get the resurrect there, not that it matters. It's just so crazy to watch these cards do such huge amounts of damage. And then we finish it off. So 1, boom. Low mana, you can get out a ton of damage with this card. Next one. So here's a fun one. We got a guild mate here in Jig Strike. Realized that he was playing a lot of magic attack. He was going with a lot of magic spam. So one of the cool things about this strategy is I want to bring something with Void and Heal and Magic Reflect, and I want to keep it alive. Now again, normally the decision I have to make is these support cards that help keep it alive don't have an attack. That sacrifices a ton of damage. So it's constantly a decision you need to make. Should I put support cards that aren't going to do damage and try to outlast my opponent? Should I go all out on the attack? What's a balance I can find between the two? This card lets you do both. And that's kind of why I've loved it so much since I played it. This one's a little bit higher mana, 36, but still pretty low. And you can just see the sheer amount of damage I'm able to do. You know, the rust also helps here because they are bringing a bunch of shields. So we can knock 2 of those away. I'll definitely take it. Another cool thing you'll see, you're going to see a really souped up Dr. Blight by me. Scavenge monsters in the Rebirth rule set is really awesome. And that's part of what happens here is, I'm going to get a Dr. Blight with 20 plus health, and the support cards that I got to bring because I didn't have to pick between support and damage are then going to make it impossible for them to get through my Dr. Blight, as you will see. So again, this battle is going to take a bit, but again, our Zenith Monk is going to get resurrected a bunch. It's going to do a ton of magic reflect damage here that significantly weakens my opponent. I think that was the first time it died. We're just doing a ton of damage. I believe this is the second time it died, and now it'll get resurrected. And we're actually going to get 2 heals off here. And then it's going to be solely responsible for the first death of the Ruler of the Seas, I think. Yes. So the Ruler of the Seas is going to die for the first time. So we got that out of the way. Solely responsible because I was able to keep my Zenith Monk alive. Now again, obviously it comes back. You can look at my Dr. Blight in the second position, currently at 13 or 14 health, sorry. And that'll be going up plenty. Now it's going to be at 15 health. And again, I need all of this damage to get through the shield in the front. That's another cool thing. When your opponent brings shield, because you get 3, you're still able to do 2 damage. So that's not like an insignificant number. And I think the Silver Shield Assassin gets to go again. Yes, it does. So that's big. So now we have a Dr. Blight moving to the front with 17 health. Now they have a lot of damage left. But as you can see, cleanse, heal, back up to 19. Yeah, it's just too much damage. I think now we're going to end up at 20 health. Playing this card really does lead to the best of both worlds. And I mean, the 5 damage is pretty crazy. Right, I've talked so much about how it gives damage to other cards. It has 5 damage by itself. And they just can't get through my Blight now. Because again, I got to bring support cards that are also going to do damage for me. And yeah, we don't have to watch the rest of this. You can see how it's going to go. My Dr. Blight's going to get a ton of health. And there's going to be nothing they can do. We're going to win this battle. So I'm going to hit skip to results. There's the win. 99% chance. Moving on. All right. So let's talk about one of the potential downsides of this strategy via a card I played. So again, this is a slightly higher one at 38. I think this was the first match that I actually used Zeriel in. So some of the complaints, or not complaints, but just one of the cons of Zeriel are, as we've talked about, these are really great support cards. And normally when you bring them, one of the good things about no attack cards is you don't need to worry about Magic Reflect. You don't need to worry about Thorns. You don't need to worry about, in this case, Return Fire. So that is the downside, right? Specifically when you're talking about a poison rule set, you don't want these cards taking damage because of Return Fire. When they don't have an attack, that can't happen. So you got to be a little careful. And in this instance, right, we don't have a lot to work with here. We have life and we have water. I saw my opponent had played Chancius a bunch, but hadn't ever played the Shield Bear. And he had mana caps where he could have played the Shield Bear based on the other monsters I saw that he played. So I felt pretty good, and I took a calculated risk that I would not see the Shield Bearer, which is the risk here when you're thinking about Return Fire. Now obviously, maybe he could have played an Ilthane, I didn't know he had an Ilthane, but at that point I would tip my cap, and I would say, great job. You were prepared to beat me. But that wasn't the case. I didn't get the Shield Bearer, I didn't get a Return Fire, and now these cards back here can keep doing their thing, keep being amazing in the poison rule set, while also putting out 3 damage. And when you're trying to get through the cube, every little piece of damage helps. The other cool thing about Zeriel in poison rule sets, the life leech. So if I hit health for 5, I'm going to life leech up 3. So not only can I sustain through the poison, I can gain health throughout the poison. Now obviously, if you hit a monster that has below 5 health, you could potentially get below the 3 full health, as you'll see a couple times in this video. Other thing to notice from this battle, reverse speed again. I found a lot of success in reverse speed, just because the support cards tended to be a little bit slower, specifically with life. This is the 3rd battle, I believe. You know, we're able to make pretty quick work of the cube, and not just kind of quick work of the cube. We're able to get through the Pelacor Conjurer 3 times, right? We have to get through it once here initially. It's going to get resurrected twice, and each time we have to get through it while still surviving the poisons. The other cool thing to notice is that if Zeriel did die to poison and was one of the people resurrected, you would then have Zeriel in a case where it would be life leeching health and not taking any more poison damage, because once you get resurrected, you don't take poison damage unless you're repoisoned. So there we picked up 2 more health, so it basically could survive another poison around there. They're going to slowly lose some of their support cards in the back, but so are we. Again, you're always worried about that cube. And not just that, we had to get through the Pelacor Conjurer 3 times, which is not easy. So we only picked up 1 health there, so that doesn't help us. Here's the 3rd time, and each time has a Divine Shield. It's a pain. And then each time it goes, right, the cube scavenge up. So it makes it even more difficult to get through the cube. Our Truth Speaker here will grab our first Resurrect. And then unfortunately, I think we do grab a health here with Zeriel though. Yeah, we do. Luckily, here you'll see Zeriel pick up 3 health, which is crazy. Boom, now it can sustain itself. You know, if that didn't happen, it would be gone right here. We do lose the Angel of Light, so we lose some of our attack. Cube's healing for 6, but again, we just have too much damage. Pick up another health, but they're going to now lose their shield too, so the extra repair doesn't really mean anything up front. And there we go. Okay. Moving on. Here's another one. This is our first time seeing the Scavo Hireling here. We got 31, so again, kind of lowish. I could have done this with either death or life, but I decided to go life just because Truth Speaker is such a great card for this. And again, we are now in a situation, Equalizer is awesome because you can play the Chaos Agent and have it get a bunch of health. And the goal is to keep the Chaos Agent alive. How do you do that? By bringing support cards. I bring a Protect with a Cleanse and a Heal. I bring a Repair and a Speed Manipulation because it's really hard to hit. Because I'm bringing a Protect on top of the extra shield here, I can bring another Repair. So all these 3 cards work together really, really well. And normally you're in a situation where if you're going to play these 3 cards, between these 3 cards, that's 1 damage. That's probably not going to be good enough in most contexts. You just won't have the damage output to get the job done. But now, with Zeriel, this is 1, 3, 3. This becomes 1 damage to 7 damage. So these 3 cards are still offering the same support, but instead of doing 1 damage, it's going to do 7. And that makes all the difference. Just the whole concept of taking cards that are not supposed to have attack that are still good cards, and then giving them 3 attack, which is a very significant level of, amount of attack. I mean, look at our opponent right now. Their max attack from cards that have built-in attacks is 3. And we put 3 on cards that aren't supposed to have attacks. You know, we're getting a bunch of misses, which is nice. The repair is helping also the Gym Meteor stay alive, which is helpful. See repair in the back there. Seeing the Scabble Hireling hit for 3 and the Truth Speaker hit from 3 also just like throws me off a little bit because I'm not used to it. Get some misses. Yeah, and again, another easy win just because the damage output is so high. One more shot. There we go. Another win with Zeriel. All right, this is a good one. And there's something else I want to talk about here. This is up against Gank. 24 mana. So again, not a lot of mana. When you see a situation like this, what do you expect? You probably expect Sneak, right? And that's what Gank expected by putting the Martyr card in the back line with the Llama, right? Unless you expect some sort of sneak play, you're gonna not put anything behind the Pelacor Mercenary here. Why? Kelia, with this mana cap, you get sneak. Life, a lot of times you're gonna get sneak. Even death, with the Silent Shavi, you generally might get sneak. Or you're talking about opportunity, right? You might get Deep Lurker. There's some Earth sneak plays. This mana cap right here generally screams sneak or opportunity. Basically not attacking the front. And why not? Also, another reason why you don't generally attack the front in this mana cap rule set. What could you see? You could see a Bakjira up front. That's only 6. You could see a Pelacor Conjurer. You could see a Failed Summoner. There's enough good low mana summoners or tanks that generally speaking, you don't want to attack the front in this type of situation. However, when you can get 3, 8, 11 damage going to the front in one turn, that changes the math a little bit. That allows me to attack the front. It allows me to take out a card like the Failed Summoner very quickly, while also still offering support to my Pelacor Conjurer. So this gives you just another way in this context to attack your opponent in a way that isn't previously sort of available. So Water has some pretty good low mana ranged. There's that card with no abilities, the Kulu Swim Hunter, 4 mana, 4 attack. There's a Merdampier, 4 mana, 3 attack. So there are some options, but those cards also don't have these support abilities. Again, this is all about the best of both worlds. My support cards that are amazing as is now have 3 archery damage each. So they're keeping my Pelacor Conjurer alive while dealing out huge amounts of damage. You know, we're missing some shots because we're blinded. You know, and then obviously, you know, Pelacor Mercenary with the Last Stand from the Llama, plus multiple Martyrs, which is what we could have been looking at here, is really difficult to get through. But the combination of us not having any sneak play and the sheer amount of damage we could do is going to take this one home for us. You know, even against a really potential dangerous lineup. I would have been curious to see what happened if this Pelacor Conjurer did get in the Last Stand. I would be fine, so I actually know what would happen. They wouldn't be able to get through the repair right here, and my Zeriel would basically get unlimited health until we hit fatigue. Because it would hit it enough. I don't think I'd be able to do enough damage to get through it necessarily, but I would life leech so much health that I would win in fatigue. But there we go. another option in low mana where you don't have to just do a pure sneak play. Here we go. Here, another similar type concept. This one's 22 mana. Again, I'm getting these strategies out in very, very, very small amounts of mana. And again, think about how frustrating the failed summoner can be to get through. This gives you an archery option to do it. And again, look at this. This card's built for attack, right? Its value comes from 3 mana, 3 attack, and then these abilities, right? Oppress, you're going to see it double hit here. The Snare, you're going to see it automatically hit here. The Blast, we're going to stop the Blast with the Reflection Shield. But compare these two cards now. Naga Assassin for 2. With this very expensive Summoner boost, 3 damage, Speed Manipulation. What are we going to get here? Hold on. I gotta wait for the attack to pop up. It's the last thing that happens. Okay. What do we get here? For 3 mana, so 1 additional mana, 3 damage, Speed Manipulation, and a repair. What do we get here? 3 damage, no Speed Manipulation, but a Protect, Cleanse, and a Heal. It just puts these cards in a whole different category. And it's so crazy. Like, let's talk about a Queen Mycelia, one of the ultimate support cards. So many great support abilities. Rust, Triage, Amplify, Protect. But because of that, it has 1 attack. This is just such a big boost to some unreal support cards. You'll see how quick we get through the Failed Summoner. We don't have to do magic, right? It's so hard to get through. That's such a crazy hit. Right, we even lose our Bellicor Conjurer because of the Grenadier super, super quickly. But again, we just have enough damage that it doesn't matter. You know, we're winning this sort of battle race here. That was a nice miss. That helped us. I don't think it would have mattered, but keeping the Venator out there, certainly nothing to sneeze at. So yeah, we have too much damage, too much support. We're repairing, we're healing, and we're just laying out huge amounts of archery damage. This was the second to last battle. We will now move on to the final battle. And then I actually think I have some diamond chests to open. So if you made it this far, stick around for that and we'll see how we do. Here we go, some more health. The last one I'm going to show you is actually the death battle. So I was able to do this with death. And so I talked about Riftwing earlier, right? Some of the, again, 21 mana. Very, very, very small mana caps that we're talking about here. So one of the problems with Riftwing is, do you put him as your tank and not get the Scavenger? Do you put him back here and lose a spot for one of your attackers? You don't really want to put him as a sneak defender necessarily, because if your opponent doesn't bring sneak, you're going to get a really souped up Riftwing to the front eventually, but it won't be able to attack. So more likely than not, your opponent will eventually get through it. This, which is kind of the theme of this video, gives you the best of both worlds. I can put the Riftwing in the back, where it's going to get a ton of health from scavenging up, but I don't need to sacrifice an attacker because Riftwing becomes my attacker. This is the first time I think we've seen the Chaos Agent. We didn't get any sneak here, but a lot of times I'll toss the Chaos Agent back here as a sneak defender. Between the decent speed and the dodge, a lot of times it can get me a miss. But the problem is, as is the case here, if they don't bring a sneak attack, the Chaos Agent just sits there, right? And again, eventually gets to the front, no attack. Unless you get lucky with backfires and such, you're going to lose. Now it becomes a 1 mana 3 archer with decent speed. Again, best of both worlds. Just seeing this Riftwing with 3 attack, look how crazy the card becomes. That's nuts. And I'm not, the other thing to remember here, I'm very thin up front. I didn't bring a real tank I have 2 1-health monsters behind my fake tank, so I'm relying on the Riftwing to get a couple attacks off, but then also function as my tank. That's what I mean by you sort of have this conundrum with the Riftwing, and now I get to do both. It gets to quickly become my tank after getting some health and get some attack off. And as you'll see, we'll need all of the health that we can get to win this battle. It looks pretty good for us right now, but again, we are very thin up front. There we go. Their next attack, all of a sudden the Riftwing can't attack anymore, but it has built up 13 health. We get a miss here. It's the poison right away. It's down to 11 health, and it's going to hit for 2 every time. Another miss. We've lost some damage. All of a sudden, it's not looking that good. We hit that shot, which was huge. Now it's a race against time. But now we get back to Riftwing. We could put it in the back. It could get some health. And Zeriel just hits for 5, which is crazy. So we just survive. We just get the damage off. We get the win. This is such a fun card. So much fun. I've really enjoyed using it. Let's open up these 8 diamond chests. Then we'll check to see how much is left on the sales page. Again, do I want to buy it from the shop? Not necessarily, but it's going to be on my watch list. Oh, wow, legendary. Nice, Drybone Raider, I will take. Geez, I need to put these on stream more often. It's a good start. I mean, awesome. I'll take these 4 gold foils and a legendary. But yeah, Zeriel, really great card. Again, not sure if it's worth it to buy directly, but you know, if the price falls alongside some of the other assets here, you got 2 days to make the decision. It's going to be on my watch list. It's going to be a card that I want to pick up at some point. Thank you again to Master Shonaf for delegating me the card to use. Greatly appreciated. I've had a lot of fun. It's, as you can see, I don't normally put 11 battles in these videos, but I've been winning a lot with Zeriel, so there was a lot of stuff to pick from. That's going to be it. Thank you for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel. Love having you guys here. Have a great day, and I will talk to you guys soon.